Miss Shonda, how can we help you this morning?
I was the one who asked the question about having your extra payment allocated towards principal versus interest. So thank you for answering that question. I actually just signed a contract on a home. Of course, was approved for a mortgage with no PMI, and I don't have any monies escrowed in. I pay my taxes and insurance on my own. And so,
Excellent.
and I don't have any other debt. So this will be my only debt except for credit cards that I have, of course. So if I make an extra payment every month, then that will basically slash my upcoming payments. So should I be aiming to make an extra full payment, or should it be just based on the amortization schedule?
That is a very good question. So now we're going to see, how do we get out of the matrix? How we get out of the matrix is to know the truth about lending. And so when we're saving money, do you want to save some money, or do you want to save the most amount of money you possibly can?
The most, of course.
So do you think it would be important to know how much money to put down on your mortgage and when?
Of course.
All right. So it matters how much you put down and when you put it down, that so you can increase the amount of interest you save per dollar. Would you like to go over a few examples of how you can understand we're optimizing interest savings, not just willy-nilly throwing money at the debt? And let me tell you something right now. You do not have to put extra money on your debt every single month.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
So, but that is using a spreadsheet method. So let me give you an example of a spreadsheet. And I've had people bring their spreadsheets. I live in Huntsville, Alabama. And in Huntsville, guess what? I mean, this is Rocket City. I mean, the military is here, NASA is here, Space Force is here. There are more engineers in Huntsville per capita than any other place in the world. And when people see my commercials on TV here in Huntsville, they come into the office, and if they're an engineer, they have their spreadsheets. And with their spreadsheets, they've got to say, listen, if I put this amount of money down every single month, I will be out of debt here. What are you doing that's better than this? And I'm saying, oh, so you're saying if you get out of debt here, you could be out of debt in 15 years by doing this? Though that whatever extra money that is, that's 180 months. You'll have to put that money down every single month, not missing 1 month to make that happen. What's the likelihood, Mr. or Mrs. Engineer, that you'll be able to put that money down every single month, not missing a month? 108. That's 15 straight years putting extra money on the debt every month. So are you taking into account, like roof damage and you got to get that fixed? Are you taking into account that there could something go wrong that you need to fix in the house, like a hot water heater? Oh, maybe you have to fly the whole family across country to say goodbye to Aunt Mabel at the last minute. Are you taking those things into account? So how likely is it you'll be able to put down for 180 straight months, that's 15 straight years, that kind of money and not miss 1 month? Not only that, but you're going to miss several months. And you know what? They have to agree that they're going to miss some months. So what you don't want is a spreadsheet, because spreadsheets blow up as soon as you run into a difficulty. Would you tend to agree?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So what we need is a dynamic program, something like a GPS for your money. And if you have a GPS for your car and you run into a detour or you get off course somehow, does your GPS recalculate for you
Yes, it does.
and get you back on course?
It does.
That's what you want for your money. You want a program that does that, not a spreadsheet, because spreadsheets blow up. Okay. And so now think about this. So now once you do that and you're using your spreadsheet, the months that you take off because you need to regroup, let's say you take 2 or 3 months off, you start back where you left off, putting that amount of money each month. You do not make up for the months you've lost. A GPS unit, though, says you're off course. Let's see how we can get you back on course and get you as close as we possibly can to your original destination and timing. That's what GPS does for you, where a spreadsheet doesn't. So that's kind of where we come in to do that. Okay. So that's going to be the first thing. So now, with that in mind, give me a question that I can answer with that in mind.
So basically, I was asking, should I just make extra payments every month in order to save up on my mortgage, or should it be done a different way?
There you go. Now, with that background, watch this. We're going to go over why it is important to come up with the right amount of money at the right time, as opposed to just paying any amount of money at any time. All right. So we have a $200,000 mortgage at 6%. And for those of you who are interested, this works for multi-million dollar properties, whether you are a real estate investor or you have what's called a jumbo loan. Okay. So it really doesn't matter. If you can afford the payment, you can save interest on these loans with your current budget. You don't need more money. You just need to save more interest. So let me show you what we've got here going on, Ms. Shonda. So you were able to see, or at least hear, that if on this very first payment, if we pay $1,199.10, $199.10 goes to principal and $1,000 goes to interest. Do you remember that?
I see that.
Okay. And so the next month, $200.10 goes to principal and $999 goes to interest. And here's what we were saying. If we pay this mortgage like the bank wants us to, pay payment number one, then if we can see the schedule, then we can see February's principal payment. And what we were saying earlier is that you don't have to wait till February to give the bank that $200.10, correct?
Correct.
If we paid that early, let's say we paid that in January as well. We paid our first payment in January and then gave the bank $200.10, the same amount of principal that we would given them on line two. If we prepay this, then we eliminate line two from our schedule. We're already paid down to the principal balance on line two, which would be $199,600.80. Our next mortgage payment for February is actually on line three, where we're paying $201.10 and $998. For $200.10, we just eliminated line two from our mortgage schedule. Gone. And we just saved $999 in interest that we never have to pay. Now, here's what we're going to do for you. So let's just say, now, we could prepay any amount that we want, but I'm only going to give you two choices here. I'm going to put on the screen where you could see line 12 on our amortization schedule and line 24. And we're going to take a look at cumulative principal. That would be column 3 and column 4 as cumulative interest. So in 12 months, the bank wants us to pay this loan down by $2,456 and a penny. And how much interest do they want us to pay in 12 months, Ms. Shonda?
$11,933.19.
So let me ask you, do you think nearly $12,000 is too much interest to pay to gain $2,456 and a penny in equity?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. So if we prepay this, so do we have to pay the bank $24,5601 in 12 monthly installments? Or if we had it, could we give it to the bank in one installment?
In one installment.
If we did, we'd be paid down to here in 1 month, wouldn't we? Down to line 12.
Yes.
And we would knock out all of these payments in 1 month and save this interest, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
All right. Now that we could see that, let's take a look at, I'm only going to give you a choice. Now you can prepay any amount that you want. And the reason why I say that is because I pick up pennies in the parking lot. All right. Every penny helps. So even a penny, an extra penny on this mortgage given in the first year would save about 7 cents in interest. Did you realize that? Every penny saves about 7 cents in interest you don't have to pay. I love knowing that.
But Don has some valuable information that can contribute to the quality of a person's life. And it only costs you a few dollars. It's his book. Why not get that?
I'm going to go through the P.I.L. method myself with some of my investment properties. So I'm going to link up with Don, and then I'm going to sit down with him, show him my investment portfolio, and see how I can eliminate interest.